And we gonna bring you that dope.
And we gonna bring you that dope. It's Gator Beater, baby. Man, state to state, baby, coast to coast. Like the vibe, baby, spark to joke.
And we gonna bring you that dope.
Come talk with Erica, man, talk with G. And all you gotta do is talk with me.
And we gonna bring you that dope. And we gonna bring you that dope. And we gonna give you that dough. And we gonna bring you that dough.
Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing, bing.
What's up?
Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the virtual congregation. How y'all doing out there, ladies and gentlemen?
Welcome back. Welcome back to another Dope Discussions Live Tuesday night.
Yep. It's Tuesday. It's time to go. Time to rock. Everybody get in it.
With the second day into the work week. I know y'all probably over it already because I had a busy Monday and I was like, I'm ready for the weekend again.
Yeah, it's been that type of week this week, because last week, my job was one of the few jobs that gave us off for Juneteenth. So we had a short week last week. And then we're getting into this long week because we know we're going to have a short week next week, and a couple of vacation days. So it's this grind in the middle that's a problem. That's where everybody's like, oh, my God, it's time to go,
Yeah, they're trying to get it all, squeeze it all into them 4 days.
Exactly. Hey, I'm feeling a little bit hype right now because of the fact that I stayed up last night to watch my LSU Tigers win the College World Series, so national champions again for the LSU. So that's two in the last couple of months here. So now we're looking at the football team like, all right, let's go. Let's get your championship in. Shout out.
Yes, this week has been a pretty interesting week. I'm kind of happy, like these are my family members or somebody that I know, but hearing that Carlisha Hood and her son, all charges were dropped against them, man, I feel happy about that.
There's a lot of folks that are happy, man. I am so, that situation is sad, man. It was a sad situation all the way through. I pray for everybody involved. I especially pray for the young man because while everybody's all happy and celebrating, it's different when you take a life, right? So that's something that he needs to be in therapy immediately because that's a trauma that you don't get by just being like, okay, I did the right thing or whatever. There's soldiers who have gone to war. They talk about that when they come back. They could shoot all day, but when they actually realize that they took a life, then it becomes a real tangible thing for them, and they have nightmares about it. And I pray that he gets embraced, and they actually get him some help and some therapy for what's going on, because it's not over. This is going to be a process that's going to happen. So we just pray for him.
Yes. What's up, Quincy? I second that. I hope that they both get some therapy and have a whole lot of support, because just even if he didn't have the gun, and even if he didn't shoot the guy, watching somebody viciously attack your mother in front of you.
Yeah, that's
traumatic.
That's a traumatic experience for you, to watch your mother be attacked, or your loved ones in general to be attacked, but especially your mom, and especially as a young man, it does something different to you, because you feel powerless at that moment. And the narrative will always be, well, he could have jumped in and fought, but you feel powerless at that moment. And he did what a lot of young men probably would have did in that situation. His first thought is, I got to get them off my mom. Now all of the other narratives that are out there, regardless of what it is, the only thing that I have to say is, I definitely hope that I'm sending prayers to him, healing energy to him, and definitely praying that he gets counseling, and that people reach out to him and give him that love and support that he needs right now.
Yeah, what the thing that pissed me off the most was when I first read the headline, I knew that was some BS. But the way they spin the story, like she ordered him to shoot the guy, and they went in there causing trouble. And she's filing a lawsuit against the police department for that very reason, because of the way they portrayed her. That could have really cost her and her son their freedom.
Yeah, definitely. So that's gonna be a fight that they're gonna have. Come, like I said, it's not over, because this is gonna be a fight that they're gonna have going forward as well too. So just you just pray for, like I say, you send healing energy to them, and you just pray that everything's gonna work out the way it's supposed to. And like I said, paramount, the young man gets some help.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm glad y'all are here this Tuesday. Last Tuesday we were supposed to have this conversation. We weren't able to do so. I had a migraine that was splitting me and like splitting my head in two, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to focus on doing this podcast. So I got myself in the bed. I turned all the lights out. And,
turn off the lights.
And it's okay. I'm okay today.
Right, exactly. We're glad you're feeling better too, because one of the big things about a migraine, I've had those before, and it literally feels like an out of body experience, because you get to the point where you're hurting so bad you're not really even sure you're hurting.
Yeah, well, I showed it, because when I went in the mirror, I had this permanent frown on my face that I couldn't. It wouldn't go away. It was just there, like my forehead was wrinkled up, and I could tell, something wasn't right. And I was like, oh my God.
You was permanently mean mugging.
Oh yeah. I had that mean mug on my face. Yes, but we're gonna get into the topic this week. I've been looking forward to this topic. Shoot, I was mad I wasn't able to do it, but I'm glad we're here now doing it. We're talking about if they cheated once, Will they
Yeah.
cheat again?
Yeah, I was having a discussion earlier with Nadine, and of course, there's qualifications to what cheating is and all that kind of stuff. But what we want to do is
Technicalities.
there's technicalities. There's people who believe that if you're not married, then you're not cheating if you deal with somebody else. There's those people out there. There's people who feel like emotional cheating isn't cheating. It's
Mm,
not physical. There's those different camps of what people think is cheating or what actually is defined as a relationship. We talk about people who are having consensual monogamous relationships.
right. If you and that person have verbally stated that we are in a relationship and we are only going to be dealing with each other, and
Right.
then one of you go outside of that and breach that verbal contract,
Hmm.
and even further, if you have a legal contract such as a marriage license
Right. Right. Right.
and you said to forsake all others,
Hmm.
and then you go outside of that contract, this
Well.
is what we're talking about.
Well.
Christina
Yeah.
Rain says it depends. I think it depends on previous patterns. And we're going to get into that
Hmm.
because I don't think every situation you can't say one solution for every situation in
Right.
every relationship. There's going to
Right.
be some nuances to every situation. I think it's important to, like you said, pay attention to patterns, previous
Yeah.
patterns.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to ask you, Gator, if you've ever had a situation in your life where you were cheated on and you forgave the person and gave them another chance.
Let me think. Once, once, a long, long time ago,
Did you regret that decision?
I surely did. Um, but not for the reason you think. The reason I regretted the decision, it wasn't forgiving them for cheating that I regretted. It
Uh-huh.
was getting back with that person that I regretted because they had other stuff going on. They didn't cheat again, but it was other things. And I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I should have just stayed away from that. But then I got back into it. That was my out. That was
That
my
was
get
your
out of
get out
jail
of
free
jail free
card.
card. I was going to say the same thing.
And I could have
And
got
you
away
got
with it
back
too.
in there.
Right. I could have got away with it too. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I did once. But normally it's a scenario if I've ever, because I can count, I don't even know if it takes 2-3 fingers that I would think about when I was cheated on. But I will say that I've never been in a scenario where once that trust is betrayed, that I can get it back. And because
Mhm,
I know I can't get that trust back, I
mhm.
gotta let it go.
Wow, Christina said that happened to her in January. She gave him a second chance and he did it again a week later.
Wait, he
So
did it a week later?
here's my question, Christina. What made you, like, what did he say to convince you that he wouldn't do it again? That's the
Right.
questions I like to ask people because I know in my situations when I've been in relationships where I found out the guy cheated, I broke up with him, I listened to him beg and plead and give me all of the excuses and how he'll never do it again and how he can't stand to lose me out of his life and
Oh Lord.
give him another chance. And it goes good for a little while, but you find out that the behavior never stopped. They just got better at hiding it.
Right, exactly. Because the biggest thing with that is, and to what Christine was saying, a lot of it is in the patterns. You're right. So if you have someone who is been egregiously a cheater from the
Hmm.
get, then it's harder to ignore and to forgive that person for cheating and allowing them to come back. So you have to kind of be aware of the patterns. My whole thing usually is if you cheat on me once, you'll probably cheat on me again. That being said, every situation is different. What
Yeah.
was the reason for cheating? Well, believe it or not, there's always a reason for the cheating. It may not be a good reason,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always a reason that it happened. The hardest part about cheating, though, isn't even on the person who cheated. The hardest part about cheating is the person who got cheated on. Are they able to move past it once it happens?
And that's the thing that
Yeah.
I recognize about myself is I'm even if I stay, I'm not really all the way there
Right. Right.
because once I know that you're capable before it ever happens, I'm in total bliss. I'm ignorant to everything.
Hmm.
But once I know that that's what you're capable of doing, now I can't get that out of my head.
Right.
And now everything that you do, I'm questioning it. Double checking, and that's not no way to live. That's
Right.
not no way
Exactly.
to be in a relationship. You'll absolutely drive yourself crazy. Um,
Exactly.
and that's what I recognize about myself is that if you cheat on me once, I'm not going to stay because I'm going to make your life hell.
You're gonna be playing private eye around here, you
Hmm.
know. I mean, the whole thing with that too, though, is trust. Once the trust gets violated, it's a completely different thing, right? Because
Hmm.
at the point that the trust gets violated, like it or not, a lot of people think that love is the essential part of relationships, and love is major, but the trust is also a huge part of the relationship, right? So once that trust is gone, I mean, as Christina was saying earlier, hey, I'm not a babysitter, and you shouldn't be. I've seen that portrayed on TV, and I've seen it in real life too, where these women will be following behind these men that cheated to make sure that he ain't cheating no more and all that. That sounds like way too much energy to be dedicating to someone,
Hmm.
and you're doing it because you're not trusting that person. If you don't trust them, you got to let it go, regardless of if they cheat again or not. If you can't trust that person, there's no reason to be there.
Hmm. And a lot of red flags that we miss in the beginning will tell us what what we can look forward to in the future. If you meet someone who's cheated on everybody they've ever been with, but they're selling you this story that you're the one I've been looking for my whole life, that I want to
Right.
change for, run for the
Hmm.
hills.
Right. Right.
Because if
Exactly.
they've done it before, that's behavior, that's character, that's patterns.
Right.
That's not a one-off.
Yeah. Exactly. It don't matter how many Tank songs they sing. It ain't gonna matter. It's still it's gonna end up being the same thing. Yeah, I mean, there are scenarios where a one-off will happen, and I like what she said. He was a narcissist and needed attention more than I was given, and that happens in a lot of relationships that you are in with narcissists. Is that they need that particular amount of attention, and if they're not getting it from you, then there are other sources that they can get it from. If the manipulation of you doesn't work, then they can try to get that attention from somewhere else. And if you're in a battle like that, there ain't no reason to even fight. You might as well turn the gun in.
Yeah. So this is a question I have for y'all in the audience and for me and Gator. Does the reason that they cheated make a difference in whether you're going to give them a chance or not? Another chance.
Mm, mm. You know what? That's very true. I'm about to ruffle some feathers with this one. I ain't gonna even lie. So I talk to women a lot that will say that, oh, he didn't have no reason to cheat. I was everything. I did this and 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 this. And sometimes it could be as simple as, well, that person actually was there for me emotionally. They would listen to me. They weren't, bugging me. They weren't doing all those types of things. And it's not saying that the cheating is right, but
Hmm.
a lot of times we will look over the reason for cheating because of the violation of being cheated on. right?
Mhm.
So we're not really concerned with the fact that, I haven't been paying attention to my girl. That's the Keith Sweat songs. We were singing the Tank songs before we sing the Keith Sweat songs now. So we're not paying attention to that part, and she went out and stuck out. We are more concerned with the violation of the cheating.
Mhm.
Now, at the end of the day, again, it comes back to trust, though, because even if you are cognizant of the reason for cheating, if you can't bring yourself to get past the cheating and to get to a level of trust with that person, then it's still not going to work, and you're going to have to let it go, no matter how much you want that to work. But yeah, I mean, if the reason for cheating is, oh, I just be horny, well, hey, look, why are you so horny? What's the problem? What's going on? You just want to be with other chicks? You just want to, or is it a scenario where I'm not doing something? you
Right.
know, or as a man, if a young lady cheats on me and I'm sitting there like, okay, what did I do wrong? Am I not giving enough? Am I not, being, manning up enough, or am I not there enough? Am I, or, because the majority of the times I've seen guys get cheated on is because they're not available.
Mhm.
They're no longer available, and that's not just physically available. It also is emotionally available, because one of the things that I learned is that those work husbands is hell, right? Those people who are there, that can be there for somebody emotionally and get on that level, and
Mhm.
their man isn't getting on that level with them, that could be hell, and
Yeah.
they're not getting that type of nurturing from their man, so they're looking for it outside, even if it's unintentional. Sometimes they can go outside and get emotionally involved with somebody, and then it turns into a physical thing.
Yeah. I feel two ways about it that may not even agree with each other, but I can see it from
Mhm.
both sides. Like, I hear a lot of people say that if you're not happy in your relationship, then just leave.
Yeah.
And that is the ideal thing to do,
Right.
but that's easier said than done,
Yes.
especially if you're married. And on the other hand, you may really love this person or you're attached to this
Hmm.
person, but there's something that you're not getting in that relationship. Maybe you voiced it and told them over and over again, and maybe you haven't.
Right. Right.
But human beings are wired to, they want to feel good. They want
Hmm.
to feel wanted. And so I can understand the human nature of it, like wanting your needs met and wanting to feel wanted, and wanting to feel good in the moment.
Right.
But on the other hand, for me personally, I don't give a damn what the reason is.
Mm.
It's never going to be good enough for me,
Right.
because
Right. Right.
it was still a choice that you made.
Yes.
Nobody
Hmm.
made you do it. And that's what I hate to, when people say, they blame it on their partner. If you was doing this, I wouldn't have
Hmm.
had to cheat. You're a grown ass woman or man.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things that have to fall into place before your clothes fall off
Right.
and
Right.
y'all end up having sex. So there's a lot of things that happen in between to even make that happen. And there's a lot of opportunities for you to snap out of it and think, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I should be
Yeah.
talking to the person I'm in a relationship with. If my needs are not getting met in this relationship, then we need to figure out how to get my needs met. And then if they're not willing to meet my needs, then I might not need to even be with them in the first place.
Yeah.
But and then on the other hand, you may not just need to be in a relationship at all, because a lot of times you're looking for your needs to be met in other people that you're supposed to be
Hmm.
meeting in yourself.
Right. And there's a lot of people who are in relationships like that. They're in the relationship not necessarily, for the other person and because they're so into that person, but they're into the relationship. And I think Christina actually says it too. Some people are in relationships just to not be alone.
Mhm.
And those are the ones that you usually see the most impropriety going on, is because their dedication isn't to the other person. Their
Mhm.
dedication is to themselves not being alone. So
Mhm.
they're more likely to step out and to be with somebody else or to experiment with those different things, as opposed to somebody who's in a relationship and they're actually really, caring about the person that they're with, as opposed to just caring about themselves.
What's up, Love Tucker? Love Tucker said, "If they cheat, I must retreat."
Hey, that's what's weird about that, and love, you hit it on the head. I don't see myself being in a relationship with somebody once they cheat, because
Mhm.
now I will never say never, but I will say that, most circumstances that I could think of and be aware of, I don't see myself staying in that relationship, even if they put all the burden on me. Well, if you would have been doing this, then I wouldn't have cheated. Well, like you said, Erica, you was grown and
Mhm.
you ain't have to do that. You could have verbalized these things to me and I probably could have done something about it. But
Right.
you know what? I can't see myself staying because I will always have that hint in the back of my, and it's not just cheating. I'm that way with lies too. One of the
Mhm.
things that I hate is when people lie to me about something, right? Because
Mhm.
I will always have that thought when I'm interacting with that person. If they're telling me something, are they being factual? Can I trust the information that I'm getting from this
Yeah.
person, because they've lied to me before? Same thing with cheating. Okay, well, I'm going to the grocery store. I'll be back in about an hour. Are you really going to the grocery store?
Mhm.
Or is Leroy up the street and y'all trying to get a quickie in?
Mhm.
Those are the types of things that, that will cross my mind. And this is why, again, I say, if you do decide that you're going to stay with somebody after you found that there was some sort of impropriety or infidelity going on, you have to do the work in you to get past the fact that they cheated. Because if you don't, then your life is going to be a living hell, because every single time they leave the house, every time they don't answer the phone on the first couple of rings, every time something happens, you're going to be like, what if there was somebody else?
Right. And I'm telling you now, if you cheat on me, I'm not doing the damn work because I didn't do the damn sex.
Right,
No, I'm
exactly.
not finna work on myself to help me trust you more. F you.
Exactly. I mean, and that's why I'm like, I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. Like I say never, but from where I stand right now, no, I couldn't do that, because of that. Because that's doing the work to get past something like that. It takes more work to do that than it did for that person to actually go and cheat, because
Mhm.
you are the one who has to sit there and deal with that emotional baggage that this person put in your hands.
Yep.
You have to change, and they may feel like, okay, and I've seen this happen in relationships before, right? Where and I've seen, believe it or not, I've seen this more with women that have cheated, because most men don't, uh if a woman cheats on them, they usually out,
Yeah.
right? Women are more likely to forgive a man for cheating. But one of the things that I found is that if a man does decide that he's going to allow, that relationship to continue with a woman that cheated, it's hell, because
Mhm.
he will literally play every single circumstance in his head, 24/7. Like I said, she ain't pick up the phone on the first couple of rings. Where you was? Why
Yeah.
you ain't answer the phone?
Or
You
when
know?
y'all having sex, did you say that to him when y'all was
Right,
doing it?
right. Right, exactly. So women are like that as well, right? Because there's the ego involved. With a man, it's not just the fact that she cheated, it's the fact that she had somebody else in her. And so
Yeah.
we will sit there and be like, because then we get on our ego and our machismo thing. With
Uh-huh.
women, it's like, oh well, she might be cute or whatever, but I'm the prize. I'm good. With men, it's like every time you have well, did he make you come baby?
Don't
How big was
ask
he?
questions that you don't really want to know the answer
Right.
to.
I was laying it down, but I don't know, that angle. Was he I don't
And then there's another flip side to that I recognized in relationships when I stayed with a person who cheated on me. A lot of times the person who cheated doesn't trust you now
Yeah, I've seen that happen too.
because they're wondering, are you going to try to get me back?
Right. You're gonna get your lick back.
And then they become jealous and possessive and controlling because they're scared that you're going to do it back to them. And
Right.
so there's another level of toxicity and foolishness that you don't need to deal with. It's like you cheated and now you got trust issues with me.
Right.
I'm out of here.
Right. That happens with a lot of guys. That I would say that's a guy thing right there, where it's like, oh, I cheated, but nah, wait a minute, she a little too quiet about this. She a little bit too understanding. She trying to get her lick back. Hold on. So yeah,
You best believe she is. Well, some of them,
Yeah.
the way I would get my lick back was, I'm gonna cook you a nice little dinner. You might not want to eat it.
Look, Eric can talk about manslaughter. I look. I would tell you this. If you're a man and you cheat on somebody, don't eat their food for a minute. Especially if it's a Louisiana woman. You might have all kinds of stuff. Your drawers buried in the backyard. Your picture in the freezer.
I changed my mind. I said the first person they look at is the wife. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Right. But yeah, it really is a bit of an issue, right? Because like Christina was saying, my chances of ever giving someone a second chance again is 99.9 to the negative, right? That's true. And you think that, okay, I'm not gonna give this person another chance if they cheat. And that's the bar you have to set. That's setting your own boundary to know that, hey, I can't do it.
Right.
Yeah. I can't do it.
You have to know yourself.
That's
you
my
have
hometown.
to be self-aware and know yourself as well, and know what you can and can't put up with, and don't force yourself to try to accept things that you can't accept. Because I began to obsess when I knew he had cheated, and I would picture in my head, actually playing these things out in my head of seeing them together and what they were doing together. And it was just driving me crazy for no reason.
Right. You got that stuff playing in your mind on a repeating reel.
Like I actually saw the act. I saw them in the act, but I made my own picture look, it was even worse than probably what really happened.
Right. See, now that's a completely different monster. When you catch somebody in the act, then it's kind of like, oh, I just seen you. Because see, now you got a whole full visual of the whole thing, right?
I don't know how people live through that.
No.
I don't know.
No. Especially as a man, that has to be the worst feeling in the world as a man, to walk in on your girl with some other dude, because then you ain't got to ask questions. You see what he
saw.
So now you really
why? And then she gonna be like, "Why you asking me? You saw for yourself."
Right, exactly.
Girl, I'll punch you.
Right, exactly. Like, bro, really? Like, because that could either be the best thing for a man's ego or the worst thing. It could be the best thing, be like, Man, that little dude ain't working with nothing, bro. What's happening? You know, why you had to cheat with him? You know, it was
Right.
an emotional thing, huh? He was being all sensitive. He was being sensitive, huh? That's what it was. But if you look and you be like, "What the Mandingo? What man? Hey,
I ain't even gonna be able to follow a bit. Let me
why
go
you
and
up
pack
here
up
with
my
one?
stuff.
Why you up in here with one of the X-Men? Shoot.
So here's another question I had. Do you feel like it'd be easier to forgive your partner if they come to you and confess versus you finding it out on your own?
Not really. Because I think for some people it would be. For me personally, no.
Mhm.
I think you probably do have more of a chance. Now to think about it, you probably have more of a chance of continuing if you're confessing it. 9 times
Mhm.
out of 10, that means that you are, concerned with the
Remorseful.
relationship and you're remorseful about it, right? So you're more concerned with the relationship. You're actually remorseful. You're thinking about trying to preserve the relationship, right?
Mhm.
Now, at the same time, I'm still gonna kick you out the door, but it does show more of a sign of remorse in that scenario. Now, if I got to catch you cheating, that's a completely different monster.
Right. I mm, you I never even had the benefit of somebody confessing to me.
Oh well,
And
yeah,
even when they were caught, they still stuck to the story of I didn't do it.
yeah. Yeah, I got confessed too when I got cheated on, but it was because she was a groupie and she had sex with Tupac. But that was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing was okay, cool, I understand. All right, cool. You know, but
Love said, really? I be even madder, like you fooled me and cheated. So you're good at it. So I would wonder if they would do it again.
like, wait
Right.
a minute,
Like
you've done this before.
I didn't
Wait
even
a
suspect anything. And you came out and you told me, and I'm like, huh?
wait a minute.
When did this happen? Like, because everything was going normal like we always do. You didn't do nothing out of the ordinary. You didn't change up your pattern. So when was this even going on? So
Right.
then that's probably a real mind fuck because you're like,
Hmm.
I didn't even notice anything different.
Right. It's like I feel duped. Wait a minute. What are you
Right.
confessing? I didn't even know nothing was going on.
Wow. That mean, yeah, like you said, love, that mean they really good at it.
Right.
They didn't
That's
change up their pattern or nothing. Everything was as normal.
right. Yeah, them you gotta watch them. Them the sneaky ones right there.
Ooh, you got to get away from me, sir.
Right. You good at this cheating thing.
Oh yeah, you perfected this thing.
Hmm.
And you know what I learned too was when I was in my marriage, the more the more I confronted him with things that I found, the more lazy he got because it was like you know all of this and you found all this information, but you still here.
Right. Right.
So why do I need to hide?
Exactly, because and that's probably how he felt about it. Because I've seen this with guys too, and women that I've actually seen cheat. It's a scenario where it's like, okay, well, you're not going nowhere, no way. And then
Mm-hmm.
some of those people that find the information become so invested in proving that person wrong. Like, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been cheating on me. I know you, and they're so invested in that part that they are still in but they're still in a relationship with somebody who's cheating. Instead of getting out, they
Yeah.
become invested in getting, catching all the
Getting the
information
validation
and
of I
saying,
want you
"Yeah,
to say it. I want
right,
you to say the words. And that was my thing is like I got all this information. It's in your face. You cannot lie anymore. Just admit it. And he
right,
would never admit it. And that would just drive me more crazy. and then I need to get more
You got to
proof
get more
to
info.
where
You
you
gotta,
just can't lie about this. But he would still come up with the dumbest explanations for stuff that made no sense. And I'm knowing that it doesn't make any sense. Why am I still here?
exactly. You got reconnaissance going on. You got drones flying over the girl
Right.
house.
You got condoms in your pocket and you holding them. I'm holding them for my brother. So your brother don't have pockets?
Hey, so that's one of the wildest statements ever, right? Like, I'm
was
holding the condoms for my brother. What?
right.
Wait a minute. So when your brother wanna get busy, he just gonna call you to bring him some
Right.
condoms?
It
Why
was
he can't hold on?
madness.
Right. And then I feel gross touching them. It's like, well, I know what you about to do with these. Like, why
Yes,
do I want to
love.
hold them?
The liars lie to the end. It
Oh, yeah.
doesn't matter. Let me tell you this crazy story. I caught my husband with a passion mark on his neck. And this ninja lied to me so
Oh, wow.
long and so convincingly that by the end of the argument, I was like, did I put that on him? And I knew I didn't.
He did
But
one of the
he
Matrix.
kept going so hard, and I was like, did I put that on him and I forgot?
Right. He did one of the Matrix moves on you. Did all
That's-
the switcheroo.
That's that narcissistic abuse, gaslighting that they talk about that makes you question your own reality, because they will make you think that what you see is not real. What I
Right.
am telling you is the truth.
Exactly. And narcissists are good at that. They will make you believe you'll know something for a fact, and they will make you doubt that fact. You know, and with so much passion and vigor,
So much.
you'd be like, wait a minute, is it
Maybe
really?
I'm wrong.
Maybe I am wrong about it.
Oh yes, Christina, even when you have proof that a court of law would convict them on, they will still say, no,
Yeah.
that wasn't me. Somebody set me up.
Right. Right. That wasn't even me. That, you know, they got AI out there, right? That video you saw, that was an AI version. You know, the government be trying to set up us black men out here.
Yes. And this is the final question. If your instincts say they're cheating, do you investigate or do you just ask them?
Well, number one, if you ask them, I would just ask them first. And if they say no, then you still got to follow your instinct and leave. Because now, okay, let me take that back. Let me walk that back. Because some folks have some healing to do, right? And they've been in relationships before where people have cheated. So instinctively, everybody cheating.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a relationship once where the girl swore up and down. I mean, she had been cheated on multiple times by people, and she swore that I was cheating. So much so that she was coming to the job and watching to see if I was, you know, coming out on break and smoking a cigarette when I was smoking cigarettes, seeing if I was actually out there smoking a cigarette or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it became a scenario where I just got a feeling that you cheating. But it was because she had experienced all of that trauma before. So she just basically projected that onto us and our relationship. She was like, this the relationship just too good. You got to be doing something. So I can't even say that it's an instinctual thing. I say do ask them. And if you have that feeling and you have that instinct, express that to them. Hey, and don't I know you cheating. No, don't do that. But come to them and say, hey, you know, I have a feeling that something isn't quite right. Maybe we need to talk about this. Maybe we need to sit down and figure out why I'm having this particular feeling. Is it something that's happening? And if that person neglects to talk with you and work with you and try to understand why you feel that way themselves, then you need to go, because that ain't the person for you anyway. Because anybody who actually cares about you will care about the fact that you feel like something's going wrong. So
Right.
yeah, if they don't give you that type of attention to it, then yeah, you need to go anyway. And in that scenario, you're probably right. They probably were cheating.
10 times out of 10, my gut has always been right, even when I ignored it.
Mm.
I've ignored it and regretted it. And it has always told me what I didn't want to know. And like Christina, I'm a investigate. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna gather all the facts, and I'm gonna lay it out to you, because I don't want you to lie out of it. I don't want you to lie about it. So I'm gonna give all my facts together, and then I'm gonna lay it out to you. And I'm at the point in my life now, if I feel like I need to investigate, I'm out.
Yeah. If you feel like you have to investigate, if you feel like that person is telling you, and this goes back to what I just said, if you feel like they're like, no, I'm not doing it. Why is you tripping? Why is you, then yeah, you need to go. Like I said, you need to present that to somebody and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And if you are with somebody who actually cares about
Mhm.
you, then they're going to care about the fact that you feel that way. And they're going to try to work with you and get to the bottom of why you're feeling these things. And
Mhm.
I've had to do this in relationships before. I'll go the extra mile. You know what? Here's the key over here, or
Mhm.
here's the lock code for my phone, or and sometimes, especially as men, sometimes we got to do that, because
Mhm.
the unfortunate fact is that there are more women that have gone through traumatic cheating episodes than men have. So sometimes we are dealing with somebody who's in the middle of healing from that.
Mhm.
They may not be completely healed at this point, but again, this goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. Sometimes you don't know that your arm isn't healed until you bump it up against something and you get that pain. You
Mhm.
could think it's healed. You could think it's healed fine, and then you bump up into something like, oh, maybe it's not healed. That's how sometimes it is in relationships, where you may think that you're past certain trauma, but you don't know that until you get encountered with it. So, if you're with a partner who actually cares about you and cares about your well-being and how you actually feel, then sometimes you will say, okay, what can I do to reassure you that everything is fine, right?
Yeah.
But if they're not even willing to do that, or willing to even hear you out on that, then they're probably not the one for you anyway, and you need to go ahead and eject.
Yeah. Because in a healthy dynamic, your partner cares about what concerns you,
Right.
and they want to address it. But
Mhm.
if you have a dismissive partner who's like, you know, you feel like something is off, but then they're telling you it's all in your head, or you're being too suspicious, or you insecure.
Right.
No, sometimes it's not that you're an insecure person, it's that you're in an insecure situation.
Mhm.
The person that you're with does not make you feel secure in the relationship, doesn't mean that you're insecure in yourself.
Right, exactly.
And so
You know,
many
you may,
people get that wrong.
yeah. Yeah, you may just not feel, and sometimes it could be because the relationship is a lot better than your past relationship. Sometimes
Hmm.
you could be in a relationship that is, a complete 180 than all the other relationships you've been in. This person is thoughtful, they're caring, they're, all of these things. So you're in a position that you've never been in before. You're in a position that's uncomfortable. So, you don't feel as secure, because believe it or not, sometimes we know trauma better than we know bliss. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So we're more attuned, and to be able to deal with traumatic experiences, we know what to do when we, walking in these traumatic experiences. We don't know what to do when we ain't got trauma to deal with around every corner. So
Right. A lot
so
of
it feels
people will,
uncomfortable.
yeah, some people will actually run from joy and happiness and
Yeah,
run to chaos because that's familiar. I know what
right,
this is. I've seen this before. I'm comfortable with this. I don't recognize this loving, healthy relationship that you're trying
right.
to have with me because I've never had that before and that feels unfamiliar to me. So I want to go back to what I know.
Right, exactly. There's a I think there's a documentary about this tribe somewhere, I think in South America, that they eat this particular berry or whatever, and it's part of their diet. Most people, when they eat this berry, it's toxic to them, right?
Mhm.
But because they've eaten this berry so long, their immune systems have built up, immunity to this particular toxicity. But when they eat other foods that we, would normally think is healthy and good for you, they get sick. And it's because they can't eat the healthy food. They have to go back to the toxic food because that's what they were brought up on. That's what happens a lot of times in relationships. When you are in a relationship that has, or you're used to those toxic relationships, you don't know any
Mhm.
different. So anything that looks outside of that toxicity that you're used to is peculiar,
Yeah.
and then you want to, and it's uncomfortable, which is why I said earlier, sometimes as men, and some women sometimes too, but especially as men, sometimes as men, we have to be able to recognize what type of toxicity they may have come from, any trauma that may still be getting healed from. And then this is, guys, it's not like a big deal to compensate a little bit more. If you care about that person, yeah, look, I'm going to do this thing here to reassure you that everything's fine. Oh, you need me to call you at 8:30? Like, okay, I'll make sure that I'm calling you. I'll make sure that I'm doing those things that I need to do, because your thought is of their well-being and their comfortability, as opposed to, oh, I'm not cheating, I'm just right. No,
Yeah.
just sometimes you got to do a little give and take.
Yeah. I like this comment from Reanimator. Thank you for tuning in and joining the conversation.
The
They say
animator.
they also chase towards chaos due to it being exciting, wild, and unpredictable as
Yeah,
opposed to being normal.
yeah,
And I definitely agree with that because, when you hear women say they want the bad boys, that's what they're looking
yeah.
for. They're looking for somebody who's unpredictable. You don't know
Hmm.
what you're going to get from day to day. It's like getting on in a roller coaster. It's exciting because it gives you this high and low, these adrenaline rushes. And I was addicted to that toxic type of relationship. I wanted the bad boys. I wanted to see if I could go in there and take a bad boy and tame him and make him into a good man. And
Right.
that's the challenge that a lot of people go into relationships. They measure their worth by how they can conquer somebody and change somebody and make them into
Yeah.
something that they want them to be. And they don't realize that they're toxic themselves
Hmm.
in that mindset. And that was me. And I was attracting a lot of emotionally unavailable partners, but I didn't realize myself I was also emotionally
Emotionally
unavailable.
unavailable.
It
Hmm.
just presented in a different way.
Right.
It's
Right.
the push and pull type. It's always going to be one person who's more invested in the relationship than the other.
Hmm.
And you got to pull them in. And then when they come in, the other person pushes back. And it's
Right.
that thing, that back and forth that people think is a healthy relationship. And that's not. Like, some people feel like if you have a relationship that's free of drama, free of chaos, oh, that's boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because you're addicted to bullshit.
Yeah, that's very true. And you know what's sad? A lot of the generation that's coming up, that's how they look at a lot of these relationships, because they have those relationships out there like Blueface and Krishan, and they see all these things that happen in social media. They feel like toxicity. One of the big memes is a Kevin Gates meme, and I love Gates, I really do. But one of those things, it's a little toxic over here, but you're gonna love it over here, that kind of thing.
No, I'm
And there's
not
a
gonna
lot of
love it over
people.
there.
There's a lot of people who are in tune to that. Like, okay, it's okay to be a little toxic, right? No, it's not. Your whole goal should not be, should be to not be toxic. But I think that some people are invested in the toxicity because it is, like I said, it's familiar. And then some people are actually invested in the toxicity because they think it's cool. Like you said earlier, the whole bad boy thing. He a thug, he this, he that. I see so many girls that ain't never heard of a shooter and don't know what a shooter is, doing the whole TikTok meme about this where the shooters be and hanging out with these guys who want to be thugs and all that kind of stuff because they think that that's the cool thing to do until they hear the bullets flying, and then it's a whole completely different monster. So I think we have to, and to bring it back to where our age group is, we have to actually evaluate what is actually good for us as people, as opposed to what we see online and how we want to go with the exciting side of things. Yeah, sometimes but exciting is not necessarily good for you.
Yeah, that's why healing and therapy is so important, because once you detox from that and then you step back and you take a look at it and you realize, ugh, that was me. I really was interested in those kind of men. I was really interested in those type of relationships. And when you look back on it, you realize how destructive it was and how unhappy you were as a person participating in those type of relationships.
Right.
And you never ever want to go back once you heal that part of your brain that's addicted to that, because it's an addiction.
It is.
It's an addiction. And the biggest addiction that we as people have is other people. We become addicted to other people. We become addicted to toxic situations with people, in even not just romantic relationships, in our family relationships.
Right.
We are addicted to those type of toxic family dynamics. And you can hear people on any given day complaining about how their mother treats them, how their brother treats them, how their grandparents treat them. But they will still go back and interact with those people and let them treat them that same way day in and day out, even though they know they hate the way it makes them feel. But they will still go back because, oh, that's my mom. Oh, that's my dad. Oh, I can't turn my back on my family. Right, you actually can.
Yeah.
Because your mental health and your brain is your responsibility. And it should be more important than participating in these toxic relationships that's tearing your brain down every day.
Exactly, which goes back to the whole point. If you are feeling like something is going on, and you shouldn't even have to investigate. Like, if you feel like something is happening and you can't talk to that person, and that person's not willing to work with you and to seek out what's happening, then you need to go, because you're worth more. Your mental health is worth more than sitting there playing Inspector Gadget, trying to figure out what's going on with old boy when he coming home an hour late,
Yep. What J. Cole said, gotta know when somebody ain't good for you. Yes. Yep. And that's everything. I feel like I live a boring life. And I love it here.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the peace and quiet. I love the fact that I can go and come as I please. I love the fact that anything that I want to do in life, I can do it if I want to. And if I don't want to do a damn thing, I can do that too.
Right.
And I love it. And I'm more selective with the type of people that I connect with and form friendships with, relationships, everything. And it feels good. Now in my 20s, if I was living this life and I look back at myself from my 20s, I would be like, ugh, that's such a boring life. You need to
Right.
get out and do things. You need to go to the club and you need to be ducking and dodging bullets and stuff.
Yeah.
That's life. That's living.
Right. Right. You know what? I used to be that guy, but now I'll be like, nope. Yeah, we're
No.
not doing that. I love the boring life. You know what I'm saying? I want, the worst drama that we have in our relationship is, man, I really want a KFC, but you like churches. Man, look, I'm not doing that, but that's the worst the worst drama that we have. And you know what? That's
Yes.
cool. I love that
Yes.
because it's nice and peaceful, and I ain't gotta, and you know what? Peace brings you long life and happiness. It brings you
Yes.
healthiness. I mean, I ain't gotta worry about arguing with, oh, who is this nigga or who is this and this. Like you said, I ain't gotta worry about dodging no bullets. I ain't gotta worry
Hmm.
about who coming, and going when I'm not here, or she ain't gotta worry about who coming and going when I'm not. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's cool to actually be at peace and not have to worry about, like I said, if it's disturbing your peace, you got to investigate. That's disturbing the peace. Let it go.
Yep. Because I do not have a private eye badge and that is not my profession. And I don't want to have to investigate
Exactly. Even if
inside
I
of my
had
own relationship.
right, even if I had a private eye badge, they're not paying me to investigate my relationship.
Now
So.
I'll go investigate other folks' cheating spouses. Oh,
Oh
baby,
Lord.
I'll do it because I got a lot of practice in my marriage. So if y'all need somebody to investigate for y'all, I could do it.
E-class investigations.
Yes, I'm telling you, my
I mean,
ex-husband used to be befuddled. Like the look on his face when I would bring stuff to him, he would be like, how in the hell do you know this stuff?
right,
Don't you
exactly.
worry about it. I know.
You're like, wait a minute, hold on. He checking his phone. Do I have it like his dang enemy of the state? Hold on, let me
Yes.
see.
Yeah, thinking I got him bugged and everything.
Right. It's your shoe, bro. It's your shoe. Take the hell out.
Yeah, take all your clothes off. She got something on you. Yes. Thank y'all so much for joining in the conversation.
Yep,
We
yep.
enjoyed y'all. We enjoyed the comments. We enjoyed y'all sharing your own experiences and perspectives and opinions. That's what we welcome over here. We love to hear other people's perspectives and opinions on the topics that we talk about every week. Join us here every Tuesday night at
Yep, yep.
6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, depending on what coast you're on and what coast you're watching from. This was
Mhm.
another dope discussion.
Yep, yep. And hey, guys, I mean, so I love what Christina said earlier. She's like, she's so glad she found this channel, right? We're glad you found it too. We're glad we found you, right? We want you
Yes.
guys to interact and we want you guys to be around. You are the virtual congregation, and we would be nothing without you guys. We definitely want you to watch the shows. Look, if you just found the channel, hey, go back and watch some of the past episodes too. We always have fun on here. We like to sit on here and clown, and most of these shows age pretty well because unless it's
Hmm.
a trending topic, all of these topics that we talk about are relevant from the time we spoke about it to today.
Yeah.
So make sure that you catch up on those shows, share it out. I mean, we're building a community here. There's so much toxicity online right now. There's so much hatred coming from this side of the fence, from this side of the fence, women versus men, and this person versus that person. What we want to do is we want to have these these conversations with intelligence and with love. So we want to make sure that we're getting that out to everybody. So spread it around. You ain't gonna have much drama around here, but
And
it's gonna be cool.
look out for us on social media. Y'all can connect with us on Instagram. Our Instagram page is at dope discussions _pod. We're also on TikTok, and that's at Dope Discussions 2023. And if if you have some ideas or some show topics that you would like for us to discuss, you can send us an email at dopediscussionslive@gmail.com. Stay connected with us. We will stay connected with y'all. And we will be back next Tuesday with another dope discussion. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out. See you later.
Good night.